Suck my butt. Suck my butt.
How would you children like to suck on my chocolate salty balls?
Oh, you mean like a chocolate candy?
No, I mean my balls.
Ladies and the gentleman, welcome back. That's right, welcome back indeed to another edition of SMB, a South Park review.
Suck my balls.
That's right,
Suck my balls.
we're back
Suck my balls.
to deliver to you some
Suck my balls. Suck my balls.
juicy,
Suck
big
my
old
balls.
balls of
Suck my
information.
balls.
And it
Suck my
is
Suck
a
my
defining
balls.
moment in our podcast, Joe Vanola.
Suck my
That
balls.
is,
Oh, yes.
it is the season finale of season 12, which means in season technicality, next season will almost be halfway there. We're technically more than halfway there with the actual episode count, but in
Right.
season format, we'll almost be there. But ladies and gentlemen, making his way back to the podcast, he is the 2022 Red Rocks South Park Day 1 Trivia Champion. He is a trivia god. He's a doctor of thugonomics, polyphonics, scooponomics, and he is also a man of pro wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Vernal. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing okay. I guess, like, people tell me my voice is coming back and shit. I don't feel it. But, so
Well, you
let's
sound-
see if I can get through
You
this.
sound a little bit better from the last time we talked. I would say there's some stronger, vibrato, some bass in your voice.
Yeah. I still can't yell at people. That's when I really start getting all raspy and Don Corleone anytime I try to raise my voice or project.
Well, we're happy to have you back, and I'm sure the fans are probably happy to hear two people talking about South Park versus just me, ladies and gentlemen. But I digress. Shout out, of course, to the man who likes to bring the pain of the digital marketing game, the guy who likes to solicit those picks to get your clicks. Becker. How you doing? Anyway.
I'm sure he's doing well. He's got a lot on his plate
I
right
know.
now. He's making moves.
He's making moves. Dane Becker. Go check out Derby City Wrestling and a multitude of other promotions he does. Dane Becker. Okay.
What the fuck am I doing with my life?
Well, we're going to talk about the ungroundable, about someone else who's trying to, do something with their life, Joe. Trying to make changes in their life. Changes. Per se.
Trying to fast.
Per se.
Sorry, I can't sing any more of that. Otherwise, Bowie will.
Well,
Bowie's
let's jump into this episode here while you go ahead and get yourself ungroundable in the mind, as the ungroundable is the 14th and final episode of season 12 and the 181st overall episode of South Park, as it aired on November the 19th, 2008.
Butters is fairly certain. Actually, he's like 100% positive. He's HIV positive, if
HIV.
you will. That he's seen a vampire at school, but he can't get anyone to listen to him or believe him. Tired of being teased at school and punished by his parents, Butters decides to become a vampire and become ungroundable. Meanwhile, the Goth Kids are angry and frustrated when the other kids can't tell the difference between Goths and vampires.
That is
So-
your synopsis, yeah. So let's show a quick clip here before we even get into the vampire stuff, because it starts off just in a funny, like, nostalgic type of way, as far as it retells some of our younger years of us hanging out in a computer lab before we even get to Butters looking for the vampires itself.
Oh yeah, perfect. Like, dude, if this is what my computer classes in high school were like, I wouldn't have ditched computer class.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, let's watch the clip, and then I'll tell you what happened in my computer school. So we'll jump in here as a screen share here. Now, Joe, you're gonna like this. I'm gonna put us in the corners of each box. So you're in one corner, and I'm in the other. Here we go.
At least you put me in the baby face corner.
Okay, so now now the computer will show a command bar.
A command bar.
Okay, and we type in x equals y plus 1. Okay, and then it says we hit Command Y
So
to bring up the
what's going on here
menu
is Mr. Mackey's
screen.
trying to take these kids through
Oh,
computer
man,
class.
you've got to be
But the
kidding
kids
me.
are so far advanced, like
Goddamn Japs
I
are
was.
everywhere.
And they're playing video games here.
Okay, now right-click on menu item equate all and type in input
As Cartman
Y.
and Bebe and Kyle,
Are you on America's side, Stan? No, I'm on the
Dan.
Japanese side.
Kenny.
Who just shot me?
Cartman gets shot by Bebe.
Okay, let's see. The right-click is the upper right.
And eventually, Mr. Mackey,
but then
he's gonna bounce. So I just wanted to start there because, and then you can get into talking about what happened with Butters and whatnot and stuff like that. But I just wanted to start there because for me, it was always so. When I think I was in the 6th or 7th grade, I got really good at typing. So because I got all my work done, like the 8th grade TA would just let me fucking play video games. So like, and a lot of the students did. Like we were all so advanced that we would just get our work done and then we could do whatever we wanted to. By the time I got to high school, man, I remember me and my classmate Travis, we were in I think it was like computers 3 or 4, whatever we were taking like Flash or something, like Dreamweaver, Flash, like Adobe products at the time, right? And like me and Travis were like had so gotten used to like understanding what to do that he gave us the book and he was telling us not to follow, like go ahead, but we were just like, no, fuck that, you're going too slow. So like we just jumped ahead and we'd get all of our work done, like have the project done like halfway through the semester, like we had the whole book done. We were like, yeah, we're done. He's like, I told you not to jump ahead. We were like, yeah, sorry, you were moving too slow for us. Like it is what it is, dog. Like we got it done. Like, so like what else should we do? And he was like, all right, well, now you got to make something then. And we were like, cool, what can we make? And he was like, I'm not going to tell you what to make. You fucking figure it out. We were like, God damn it. So we ended up making this game. We ended up making this like Flash game. That's what we ended up just doing, just to show that we knew how to do it. And it was, I remember it was like something stupid. It was like, I don't know, flying pigs or something like that. Because it was like the premise was, you know, we did it and you told us we couldn't do it if pigs fly or something. I don't know. So like we ended up, you know, making this pigs flash, like they had wings and they were like eating pizza. I don't know. It was weird. But we made like a couple levels just to show him that we could do it. And he was like, all right, you get an egg. We were like, thank you. And like, meanwhile, the other kids were barely just figuring out how to fucking crack eggs or something like that. I don't know. Continuing on now, getting back to the episode. Joe, why don't you tell us about what happens when Butters comes into that game room?
I was just about to say, Butters comes into the game room excited as hell that he has seen vampires at the school.
Vampires.
No one else believes him. He's really stressing out about what he should do, and then Cartman, to get him off his case, tells him, oh, well, maybe you should go document their movements or something.
Now get out of here. Yeah, go.
Which brings us to the gym, where the South Park Vampire Society, per se, are all discussing what type of vampire they are.
Per se.
Detective Butters tries to record this, but Detective Butters fails, and we hear Big Texas Butters.
Big Texas Butters. All right, let's go. Let's jump into that here. Let's see what happens when Big Texas Butters tries to record inside the gym.
Blood now. They've got some kind of chalice in their... It's the Big Texas Butters Show! And now here he is, Big Texas Butters! Well, howdy there, partners. I'm Big Texas Butters.
Big Texas Butters!
Toast. Happy trails!
Happy trails!
They're all just on top of him.
I like this. He pulls out a cross. Stay back!
The body of Christ compels you! The body of Christ compels you!
And Butters runs away. That's funny.
Yeah, and they have absolutely no idea what the hell just happened.
Those kids are like, what just happened? But they were all, of course, naming, coming up with different names for themselves.
Names.
What type of fucking vampire they are. My name's Vampiro. My name's gonna be Vladimir. No, it can't be Vladimir because it's too close to Vampiro per se.
It's too close to Vampire.
Per se.
And so we go to another part of the school now where some kids that like to wear black and smoke cigarettes like to hang out. Back at the school during recess, and the Goth Kids see these kids as dressing up as vampires and begins wondering if they're trying to be goth. Then it is at this point they find out they're vamps, and the Goth Kids are like, "You're not as dark as us. You guys don't even smoke."
It's the return of the Goth Kids. That's
No,
right.
no, 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 no.
No.
Not gonna be in your talent show.
No. Let's go into some screen sharing. So here's the Goth Kids as you talked about.
Dressed like that? That's our style.
Hey, Tommy Petros is thinking he might want to be a Vamp kid too.
Tommy Petros, is he cool?
Yeah, he's cool enough.
Alright.
So, all of a sudden, you Justin and Brittany wannabes think it's cool to dress like us? We dress the way our souls feel, to express the darkness, per se.
Aren't you Mike Mikowski?
That's Vampire Mikowski now.
That's Vampire Mikowski.
You kids need to all go put your freaking Banana Republic
That's Vampire
clothes back on
Mikowski
right now.
now.
Hey, we're just as dark as you guys, maybe darker.
Maybe darker.
Really? Do you guys even smoke?
Of course not. Smoking's bad for you.
Yeah.
Oh my god. You know,
Wait,
you guys are
I
really
like this
giving
part.
off a negative
This is my
human
favorite part.
energy. We prefer to take our darkness somewhere else, per se. Alright, Count Fagula, you go do that.
Oh, I love that part. It's a great part. I can't repeat it, but it's great. It's hysterical.
Yeah, it's a joke you can't really use nowadays.
I wish Dane was here.
With good reason.
I wish Dane was here.
Yeah, because Dane would tell me I'm fucking wrong.
Dane could say it and we could be fine.
Hey, there, shady.
Yeah, exactly.
Alright. So, at this point, we go back to the Stotch house. And Butters gets grounded, gets hollered at, and as usually happens. And this is one of the few times where Butters kind of decides that he's kind of had enough of this shit, and he thinks he knows how to become a more powerful being, if you will.
So before we get into that more powerful being, let's talk about here how fucking stupid Mr. Stotch is in this episode, trying to continue to make a point up to Butters by, we have to have a well-oiled pantry, and if you don't put the fucking rice-a-roni or the hamburger helper in the right place, then my dumbass is going to pour it into a fucking cup, and I'm going to sit down at home, and I'm going to wait for you to get home so I can yell at you. It's ridiculous.
Why is there rice and roti with a Nestle Quick should be?
Can you answer this question for me, buddies? Why is there rice-a-roni in my milk? Anyway, let's go to that screen and we'll find out why there is rice-a-roni.
Rice-a-roni in his milk.
His milk. Or hamburger helper.
Now, would you mind telling me what hamburger helper is doing in this glass of milk? Why is hamburger helper in a glass of milk, Butters?
So dumb.
I have no idea, sir.
I have no idea, sir.
I'll tell you why. Our pantry
'Cause I'm a
is always
dumbass.
kept
That's why.
organized alphabetically. But somebody put the hamburger helper where the Nestle Quick is supposed to go.
Technically, N should be Nestle Quick.
I'm sorry,
not
Dad.
Q, but
It's
whatever.
just I've been really preoccupied lately. See, there's these kids at school. They want
What keeps a family together, Butters?
Oh,
a
well,
well-organized pantry.
Reese.
That's right. If you keep putting food back under the wrong letter,
This
it
is
all goes wrong.
You just
Now
wasted
you will
food.
reorganize this entire pantry,
You actually
and you
cost
will
yourself
do it
money.
right.
Well, okay, but Dad, you gotta listen to me. Kids at school are starting to change. They've been
You do it right now, or you're going to be grounded. You got
that? So yes, as you mentioned there,
Yes, sir.
he fucking decides he gets mad. He's had enough of this bullshit. Right? He's like,
yeah.
He's like, I don't want to be. I want to be a regular kid. I want to be a vampire now.
More keen than which
And this
hell
is
scarcely
one of
knows.
the couple times
What
this
is that
season
kid
that he
doing?
really stands up for himself.
He does. Here comes Butters.
Oh, God, Butters, what are you doing?
He holds up a cross, lays it
He
down.
puts it down like he's dropping a gun or he's a hostage negotiator.
I'm Butters.
I'm Butters.
So?
No.
Oh, creatures of the night, I seek audience to engage with thee in unholy darkness, and thus do, and thus do unto your bidding.
What?
Oh, I want to be a
Be
vampire.
a vampire.
You're not cool enough to be one of us. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
but,
I know.
I think I would make a really good vampire if you just...
Poor Butters, have more
just give me the
confidence.
opportunity.
We'll think about it. Go get us some sodas out of the
Is
pop
it a
machine
lack
in
of
town.
confidence or is he a pragmatist and a realist?
I want some Cheetos.
Soda and Cheetos, yes. I'll be right back.
Soda and Cheetos. Yes, I'll be right back. Right away, Butters should have known that this was not going to be a real thing because, as he's going to point out later on, why does it matter? Why do you want all this food? Vampires don't eat human food.
Right? They drink blood.
You understand.
And, well, that's a little later on. Well, no, that's pretty much almost immediately. You're right. But what comes up a little later on is quite possibly my favorite scene. Well, no, my second favorite scene in the whole episode, but they both involve the same place inside the South Park Mall, and that is the Hot Topic. I spent many a Saturday there in the mid-fucking 90s, brother. That's how I discovered Korn and Manson.
Interesting. Like, I only really went into Hot Topic in my late 20s when I was doing the Funko collecting stuff because they had a lot of Funko Pops. So that was really the only reason why I went into Hot Topics.
Completely different Hot Topics. I mean, I've gone there for Bullet Club shirts and Funkos as well, but...
Well, that's true. I did get I did go to the Hot Topic the morning of when the Chris Jericho Alpha Omega shirt dropped. So I did get that.
Yeah, I got that one there too.
I wanted that. And then I tweeted it out and Chris Jericho replied to me. Anyway, go ahead.
So they go to the Hot Topic where they buy black clothing, black hair dye jewelry, and fake vampire teeth and make Butters drink blood, aka Clamato juice, to complete his transformation, which has always struck me as strange because how does anyone else in any other work of fiction become a vampire?
They get bitten in the neck.
Exactly. You're right, dude. Butters is missing all kinds of red flags here.
Red flags.
I really love Butters. I really like Butters. He's probably my favorite ancillary character outside of Randy Marsh, but bruh, you're better than this.
All right, so you talked about Butters getting changed per se. Here it is.
By kids at school.
Then it is time for your transformation, per se.
Per se.
Let it begin. This way. Prepare thyself.
Hot Topic.
So many red flags, my dude.
I just like after they get
And now you
fake
shall drink
tweets,
vampire blood, and your transformation will be
he
complete.
doesn't take that.
With this, thy transformation is done.
By the way, Clamato juice isn't bad.
Oh, that tastes awful.
Oh, I hate it.
Yeah.
It is finished. Welcome, Butters, to the South Park
I like
Society of Vampires.
laugh maniacally here.
And this is kind of an important moment for Butters and just the overall arc of Butters, because any other time before this he's tried to do anything even remotely nefarious or dark or evil, he's always had to become Professor Chaos to do this, and he's doing this as Butters. He's not Vampire Butters. He's not any other personality. This is Butters trying to make an active change, or actively trying to make a change in his demeanor and personality and outlook on things, as opposed to just kind of coming up with another outlet or character to fill that need.
He's having a metamorphosis. Like he believes that he is a vampire.
Well, yeah, that too, but it's just he definitely does, but it's like, but that's an important part of it too, because like when he's doing stuff as Professor Chaos, he knows he's playing as Professor Chaos. That's not Butterscotch. This is Butterscotch doing all this. Did he have a transformation and a metamorphosis? Yes, but this is Butterscotch doing these things, not Butterscotch as blank.
Fair point. Fair point. All right, continue on, Joe.
And so, after the completion of his transformation, he goes back home. His parents are angry at him again, and this new attitude of Butters tells the parents that because he's a vampire, he's ungroundable, which kind of throws Steve and Linda for a bit of a curve there.
Well, he comes home, and this time there's rice-a-roni in the fucking milk.
Yes. And so it's also about this time.
How can I ground something which is ungroundable? And I was like, dude, it's a good line.
Yeah. How can I ground that which is ungroundable? And yeah, they're just totally taken aback. They have no idea what to do about this. And Butters goes up to his room. He starts realizing he's hungry, thinking that he has made the transformation to vampire. He concludes to himself that he needs to feed on the blood of the living, and he decides what better source to feed off of than Eric Cartman.
Okay, before we get there, though, because this is my second favorite scene in the episode, but before we get to that scene, we should, of course, kind of clue in, the audience and the listeners or those watching here on YouTube, which you can go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button if you're watching it right here. We'd certainly appreciate that there. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead and let's show what happens with some Goth Kids as well, because the Goth Kids, they've been, they haven't been very happy in regards to the fact that the Vamps have been stealing their style.
Where'd it go? You see where it went?
Yeah, it's right over there by those vampire kids. What? Hey! We aren't vampire kids. We're freaking goth. Whatever, Dracula. Why don't you turn into a bat or something?
So lame. So lame.
So lame. All right, jumping back forward now, as you mentioned, here's Butters when he gets home after becoming a vampire.
There you are, Butters. Do you know what time it is? Where have you been?
Butters, what have you done to your hair?
Hey, Butters, we are talking to you. Explain yourself, mister.
I no longer need to explain anything to you, Father.
Father?
What on earth?
That does it. You are grounded for 2 weeks. You got that?
You can't ground me, for I am neither living nor dead. How can thy ground that which is ungroundable?
All right, I don't know what's gotten into you, mister, but you're gonna...
Butters?
He hisses at him. They're afraid of him hissing.
Now, for I'm a slumber, per se.
He's saying per se. And we're at a pretty good part now as well. The kids are all the vampire kids. So basically, they are called to Principal Victoria's office, where they are told to basically, fly straight and not cause trouble and stuff. And that's when Vampire says that they're not into that, and they don't like causing trouble.
We're actually more like spiritualistic per se.
And it is after this that our friend Vampire Mikowski falls into some trouble.
That's right. But before we get there, all right, let's show what happens here. This is a good scene where the vampire kids are like pissed. Or I'm sorry, the goth kids are pissed because they're like, we're not vampire kids.
Now, kids, I understand that you are very into this vampire thing, but I don't want to see it get out of hand. You kids need to understand that your new little fad is scary to some.
Oh my god. You've got the wrong flippin' people.
We aren't vampires.
I know that you aren't really vampires, and I appreciate that you want to be cool because vampires are the in thing right now.
We aren't trying to be popular.
But just make sure that this new little trend doesn't become a distraction.
Here's a couple more, Principal Victoria, okay?
Oh no, are we in trouble?
Are we in trouble? Oh no, are we in trouble? We're stupid. We're stupid little fucking kids. Oh my god. All right, so I want to
just look at them.
Let's go right here. This is one of my favorite scenes because you talked about
this is great. Right, and I love Cartman's breakdown. That's coming up.
Cartman's breakdown as well. So here's Butters as he's going to attempt to feed on Cartman because he's hungry.
Sorry, Eric, but I am a vampire now, and I can no longer survive on human food. And if someone must die so that I can feed, I choose thee. What am I supposed to do it on?
I just this part right here with Cartman waking up. But Butters.
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 Butters. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Dude, gross! You got spit all over my neck, man. Butters just gave me a hickey.
I'm so hungry, but just remembering how that blood tasted before you. Blood is all clammy and tomatoey. It makes me want to.
And Butters throws up.
You all right, sweetie?
So now, as Butters gave, as Joe alluded to, here's part down everything that just happened to his mother.
What's going on?
Well, Mom, apparently Butters is gay, finds me very attractive, and confused about his sexual identity, puked up all over my floor.
Oh, dear.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, dear. Yes.
Well, apparently Butters is confused about his sexual identity, puked up all over my floor.
So, Leanne does what any parent would do after that situation and calls up the parents of the child. And by the time Butters gets home, the Stotches have found everything out, and they ask Butters if he got gay with one of his schoolmates tonight. And so Butters again lashes out and decides he has to leave the house, and Steven has concluded that Butters has become something that they can't ground.
He's ungroundable. That's right. He jumps out of the window and he's gone.
Indeed.
All right, so here's some scenes as well from the more of the Goth Kids.
Kids started all this. Maybe he's the way to stopping it.
What do you mean?
I mean, what do you do when you want to change vampires back to normal? You get rid of the head vampire.
So here's them. They've now kidnapped Vampire.
Does your mom know you
And
took her
here's,
car?
I guess we gotta include this as a resident of this city that they're
Alright,
about
this
to
is
rip
probably
on
good
here.
enough.
Yeah, pull over here.
So the Vampire Kids, the Goth Kids pull over, open up the trunk.
What do you want?
There's Vampire tied up.
What should we do with him?
Well, if he's a vampire, I guess we should drive a stake through his heart.
No! No, I'm not a vampire! I'm not a vampire!
What's that?
I'm not really a vampire!
You're not really a vampire? Really? I'm so freaking shocked.
Oh boy, here we go.
Get the right packaging, we can just FedEx him somewhere far away.
How about we send him to Transylvania?
No, he'd probably see it as something to brag about someday to his little vampire buddies.
If we're gonna send him somewhere, it should be the most horrible, most miserable place on Earth.
Scottsdale.
Close second to Yuma.
First of all, Scottsdale is, I would say, maybe only bad if you go into those ritzy type areas and hang out. If you don't go into those areas, it's not that bad. It's just like any other regular city.
Yeah, screw North Scottsdale.
I don't know.
Isn't that where that's where all the hoity-toity shit is, I thought.
I mean, Old Town Scottsdale has evolved, to a point where they've got like a lot of stuff there now.
Nice. I haven't been there in a few years, so I don't know.
Your mom came here a few years ago. How about that?
I doubt it.
Okay.
My dad was in Gilbert a few months ago.
Okay. I'm just like saying random things. Your brother was there 5 days ago. What?
We're just like dropping geographic references that like no one outside of the Phoenix Valley, the Santan Valley, is gonna understand.
You was there yesterday.
So
he was here.
After Butters has escaped and become that which cannot be grounded, as Steve and Leanne have found out.
That's right.
Butters finds the Goth Kids, and he tells them that is the source of all this vampirism amongst the students at South Park Elementary, and that is when it is concluded that they must burn the hot topic.
That's right. Butters narcs on these vampire kids because he basically can't feed. And I'll show a little bit of that here. You kind of alluded to it with his parents calling him ungroundable, as Butters is hungry.
I'm so hungry.
Butters, you have 5 seconds to unlock this door. 1, 2.
Butters unlocks it. They walk in all slow. Candles lit everywhere. Window open.
Right to the other side of the room so quickly.
Hey, Dad.
He's on top of himself.
Did you get gay with one of your schoolmates tonight?
I have to eat, but I can't do it. I'm getting weak.
All right. Now you listen and you listen good. Until you stop behaving this way, you are not going to leave this room. Do you understand?
He falls.
Eats shit trying to climb his toy chest.
I like that part. I know now what I know now what I must have to do.
And that is when he gets to the Goth Kids, and who are at Denny's.
Well, Village Inn actually is what it's called, and these places are real.
Yeah.
There's one out here in Scottsdale, in North Scottsdale. And you talk about maybe hoity-toity. This is not hoity-toity, okay? But this is like in North Scottsdale. This is in North Scottsdale. This is a North Scottsdale area, okay? And this fucking place is one of the worst fucking places I've ever smelled. Like, you go in there, and it smells like old people. It smells like old people and death. Go ahead.
Were a few up here. The one I went to in the Springs by Garden of the Gods. Never again. I'll go to the Waffle House, get dinner and a show.
All right, here's the kids. The Goth Kids, of course, are pissed because they're at the Denny's and all these vampire kids are now there too.
Don't get it. We sent the head vampire kid to Scottsdale, but still more and more kids are dressing up like vampires.
He must not have been what was causing it. It must be something else.
Hey, you kids gonna order any food or just sit there and drink coffee all night again?
Leave us alone.
Bad enough I always get stuck with you Goth Kids. Now I got Goth Kids in my entire section.
They aren't goth. They're douchey little vampire kids.
Looks the same to me.
I bet they aren't even drinking coffee.
No, they said they're too young to drink caffeine, so they're having orange juice.
Here's Butters, you mentioned.
Go back to being human again.
What are you talking about?
I can take you to the place where kids are being transformed into vampires.
Now Butters is going to escort them, as you mentioned.
Oh, hot topic. When did this open?
2 weeks ago. It used to be a banana
Republic.
Of course. Freaking Hot Topic. That explains everything.
How did we not figure that out? Of course, a new hot topic.
Of course, the new hot topic.
Well, I think we all know what has to be done.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. They just know it. I like the just the nonchalant way he does the hot topic employee to get the fuck out of here. We should probably go. With no emotion here, watch.
Yeah. I'm
Hey,
scared
what the hell are you doing?
shitless.
We should probably get out of here.
They should probably get out of it. No emotion, no yelling. Just fuck.
What the hell are they doing? They're putting an end to
Here comes the guy you mentioned.
It sounds like Joy Division.
Burn it down. Burn it down.
Hot topic. And that is more or less how our episode ends. The kids become normal again. Butters goes back home, and everything is right in the world. Is we can finally ground our son again, and that is when the rice-a-roni is misplaced.
Right, and then following
We fucked that up 3 times.
that's fine. And then following that, yes, the Goth Kids now hold an assembly to tell the difference between vampire kids and Goth kids. And then I love the way the episode ends with them straight up telling everybody, "Fuck you,
Fuck all of you.
fuck all of you."
Fuck all of you.
All right, so let's jump into that because that's a great way to end this episode. It's a funny little joke. So here, as you mentioned, Butters gets grounded.
Uh-oh.
Butters, you are
Oh,
great.
here we go.
Mom, Dad! I changed back!
What?
Goth Kids burned down the Hot Topic, and sure enough, soon as they did, I tried eating a hot dog, and it tasted good. My vampire teeth even fell out when I bit into it. I'm human again!
We have no idea what you're talking about, Butters, but we're glad you're home.
Yeah, no
That's
idea.
right, son. There's only one thing I care about.
What's that, Dad?
Well, would you mind telling me why there's rice-a-roni in my coffee?
Uh-oh.
Butters, you are grounded.
Ah, dang it.
All right, so that's where Butters gets grounded here, and now the Goth Kids are gonna hold their assembly, and so that way they can explain the difference between, Go ahead.
The whole punchline of that, though, you see, Linda, he's groundable again, or whatever they say.
Oh, okay, here we go.
Our son is groundable once more.
Once more.
They hug.
Fellow students.
Fellow students.
Over the past week, there's been a lot of confusion, and so we have asked for this assembly to clarify the difference between Goth Kids and Vampire Kids.
Okay.
Let us make it abundantly clear. If you hate life, truly hate the sun, and need to smoke and drink coffee, you are Goth. If, however, you like dressing in black because it's fun, enjoy putting sparkles on your cheeks and following the occult while avoiding things that are bad for your health, then you are most likely a douchebag vampire wannabe boner. Because anybody who thinks they are actually a vampire is freaking retarded.
I like how everyone just cheers. And then this part, of course.
Fuck all of you.
I get louder.
Yeah.
Fuck all of you, he says.
All of you.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back on the other side after a word from our sponsors with some more trivia, pop culture, continuity references, and more. We'll be right back. Subscribe to Suck My Balls, a South Park review on Spotify, Apple's, iTunes, anywhere you want to download a podcast. Just type that in, subscribe to our feed. You'll get the latest, greatest episode each and every week. You can also listen to us on YouTube and go back and watch some videos or any of our library. It's all there. Suck My Balls, South Park review. And we're back now on the other side. Once again, shout out to our sponsors provided by a Spreaker. You can go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button if you're watching right here on that YouTube. Linktr.ee/SouthParkPod's landing page with all of our hosts and links to social media sites at SouthParkPod, at SouthParkPod with an S, and you just find us there. Just type in SouthParkPod. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I, of course, am not the 2022 Red Rocks Day 1 Trivia 2002 Day 1 Trivia Champion. I'm just Matthew Schaefer.
2022.
2022 Day 1.
I would have won in 2002 as well if there were one.
Damn right. But I am your boy, MSG. I'm your boy, MSG, and this is some trivia. This is the final episode of South Park to be aired in standard definition. Every episode after, HD, baby. 2 more things. The vehicle that Mike Mikowski was kidnapped in resembles the 2000 to 2005 Chevrolet Impala. And finally, Kenny did not die in this full season. Although, he did come close in Super Fun Time.
A lot of them came close.
All right, here comes some pop culture references. While not outright parody, the FAQ at South Park Studios confirmed the episode is a spoof of the Twilight series by Stephanie Meyer and its portrayal of vampires. The series itself is mentioned in passing by the sparkly female vampire. At the beginning of this episode, the kids are seen in this computer lab playing Call of Duty World at War. The burning of Hot Topic is a reference to the burning of the vampire cave in the movie The Lost Boys. Mike Mikowski's name is an allusion to the Monsters, Inc. character Mike Wazowski. Mike Wazowski! The scene when Butters enters through Eric's window to feed could possibly be a reference to the 1979 miniseries Salem's Lot, written by Stephen King. And finally, one of the female vampires is called Blood Rain. Her name is based on the video game with the same name, Blood Rain. A couple things of continuity here. The scene where the boy is asking where his ball bears a resemblance to the scene where Craig was asking for the football in the episode The List. The Goth Kids are mistaken for vampires. They are also mistaken for emo kids twice. Once before in Breast Cancer Show, and then again in Goth Kids 3, Dawn of the Posers. This is a reference to how outsiders often find it difficult to distinguish between these groups. And finally, Henrietta's lips actually look a little bit different in these episodes. They were bigger and had a different shape. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your references to continuity, pop culture, and trivia. Joe, what'd you like about this episode, sir?
Went into a lot of it already earlier in the episode. Again, I'm putting the cart before the horse, god damn me. Butters kind of standing up for himself, and this kind of being an evolution. Like this whole season, he's kind of stood up for himself. Do you know what I am saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So, but it really shows in this episode, and I like that Steve and Linda were kind of put on the defensive a bit.
Yeah, I liked it was the fact that it was a Butters episode, right? We got a kind of like a true Butters episode, if you will, with him being the main character of the story here. I liked him breaking into Cartman's room in the middle of the night and Cartman's explanation in regards to Butters. Apparently, Butters is homosexual, or Butters is confused, broke into my room in the middle of the night, gave me a hickey, and then threw up all over my floor. It's homosexuality. So I like that point. I like the end with the Goth Kids. I like the Goth Kids throughout this whole episode. Just them being upset by the fact that everyone can't tell the difference between what a Goth Kid is, a Vampire Kid is, an Emo Kid is, a Punk Rock Kid is.
Yeah.
A Metalhead. I'm just naming off all the different stereotypes people probably normally think is those individuals, as they're all dressed in black, right? So.
Yeah. It's they very easily get bunched together.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, I think that's it. I like this episode. Joe, would you put this in your top 100?
Oh, definitely a top hundo. I don't know if I'd put it much higher than that, maybe like top 90, 85, something like that, but I don't know if it would crack to top 75.
I agree. I would have to agree with that sentiment. I agree with that. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for another edition of SMB, a South Park review. Of course, like I said, you can hit that like and subscribe button right here on YouTube. Linktr.ee/SouthParkPod. You can also check us out on Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, Apple iTunes, Facebook, TikTok. We're all there. Just type it in, South Park Pod. We'll come up. We'll be there. I'll be there for you because you're there for me too. As long as you leave me a 5-star review, that'd be great. Share with your friends. Tell your brother. Tell your sister. It's a call to arms and an action. Share it. Let's make this thing even grander. You can also join us in the South Park Fan Club Facebook, the largest safe South Park fan group online on Facebook. And your boy here is the one that runs it. That's me, MSG. And of course, Joe is a moderator as well. But your boy started it, helped. So your boy's in charge. Your boy's I'm the dictator now of South Park fans, ladies and gentlemen. What if I was a douche? Which I'm not. But what if I was? And you'd be like, oh, man, fuck that guy. Hopefully you're not thinking that. Joe, what do you got to promote before you go?
Sunday, August 13th at the Roxy Theater, theroxydenver.com. Primos presents one night only family reunion. That'll be a good mix of old Primos, not old guys, but Primos stars of the past and present converging as one. Coming up is September 10th, we will be part of Day 3 of Gorefest 17. Once again, that'll be at the Roxy. And right now, we're officially less than 2 months away as we are recording this from Slave to the Deathmatch 14. That will be September 16th and 17th. That will also be at the Roxy. Those tickets will be up probably by the 25th, if not by the time you hear this.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your boy, Dirty JV, Dr. Thugonomics, Punkonomics, Polyphonics, Scooponomics, and MLB The Show. Now you know. This is how we go, bro. Also, shout out to, of course, the man who likes to bring the pain in the digital market of the game, the guy who solicits those picks to get your clicks, the power of people. Promoter, writer, director, on-screen individual, Derby City Wrestling. Go check out Dane Becker and Derby City Wrestling today. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it. We appreciate you coming back for another edition of SMB, a South Park review. We're going to come back next week. We're going to start it all over again for season 13. It's going to be season 13, Joe. We're getting there. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is.
This podcast has now been on the air, or now at least on the air. This podcast has now been distributed for a good 3.5 years now. And that is because you, the listener, continue to download it, share it, grow the numbers. But more importantly, it's because I got my boys here. We're just always getting together, talk a little South Park. We hope you enjoy listening to us, and we hope you continue the conversation in the comments section. Send us an email, suckmyballspod@gmail.com, or just, talk South Park with your friends and family. They'll love it. Convert people. It's like a cult. Join us. Join the cult. Join the SMB cult. We'll be back next week. Season 13 premiere. We're coming for you. It's going to be grand. You don't even know when it's coming. I don't even know what it's going to be. We'll tell you then next week. Bye.
My face fits the hole.